What's going on, guys? Justin24 here. Welcome back to a video on the channel. Today I have got for you me reacting to my Premier League predictions for the 21-22 season. I made these predictions all the way back on the 2nd of August 2021, and of course back then I had no idea that the table would end like this. So this is the Premier League version. If you want to check out the Championship version, there'll be another video coming for that in a few days' time. So let's get into this one. You guys can laugh as much as you want about this because I haven't done well at all. So this is the Premier League version. Let's get straight into it. Starting off in the bottom three, I had Watford, Brentford and Southampton going down. By the way, guys, we are doing the points tally. If you follow the likes of Spencer FC, then you will understand completely what it is. So say I put Norwich bottom of the table, for example, and they finish bottom, that's a difference of 0. So basically that's how it works. But not to confuse anyone, I put Watford bottom. And of course they did finish in 19th place, so there's only one out on them. I felt that a return to the Championship would be what the Hornets would have in their future. Brentford I had as well to go down, but of course they didn't. They finished in 13th place, which is a brilliant season for them, of course. But nobody really thought they would have Christian Eriksen in their side, and for me he's been a massive impact on them staying up. Otherwise they could have been in a lot more trouble than they were. And in 18th, the final relegation spot, I did predict Southampton to go down. The last few seasons they've been around that area for some time now, but still not going down. And you know, they were quite solid and they drifted off the second half of the season, but they were still safe. And in the end they finished in 15th, so I was 3 out on that one. But you know, it was fairly close. Of course, in reality, Norwich, Watford and Burnley went back to the Championship. In 17th, I don't know why or on earth I predicted this one. I had Norwich to survive in 17th place. What was I thinking? You know, it's the yearly swap over them and Fulham from the Championship to the Premier League. And yeah, I had a feeling that Norwich were going to do it this time and stay up. Of course, they had the likes of Billy Gilmore coming in, Brandon Williams. I thought it'd be enough. Of course, Pookie as well. They brought in the likes of Rasisha, Tozil and a few other faces, Lise Malou as well. So a real range of signings that Norwich brought into the club in the summer. I thought it would be enough. However, of course, it turns out it wasn't. Daniel Farke left after their first win of the season, I'm pretty sure it was, against Brentford. And then he left after that. I don't get why managers would leave after they win a game. Of course, it's a good farewell and that, but I don't understand it personally. So yeah, Norwich of course did go down. I predicted 17th, they finished in 20th. Next up I had Burnley to finish in 16th. I thought with Sean Dyche, it can never go wrong, and everyone else as well thought that. However, this time Burnley fans and Sean Dyche, everyone counted their lucky stars too quickly, and ended up going down. Of course, they didn't go down with Dyche. Of course, he left about 10 games before the end, and Michael Jackson, I think his name is, or whatever his name is, he took over in the first team, and unfortunately in the end they got relegated, but it was really close. I think it did go down to the final day, if I remember correctly, but yeah, I think it did, and Burnley ended up going down. But I predicted them 16th, they finished in 18th, and we'll see Burnley in the Championship next season. In 15th, I had Newcastle United to finish there after an okay season. It wasn't the greatest from their view. Of course, though, midway through this season, they had the Saudi takeover, which has just put their future on its head, really, because everyone's thinking, oh, Newcastle, they'll be fighting now for a couple of years until they actually go down and come back up. And it didn't really look like Newcastle were going to progress under Mike Ashley. Of course, he did sell up in the end, and the Saudis bought them. And now they finished in 11th. Of course, they signed Eddie Howe. They got Bruno Guimaraes in, a few other names as well. And it looks really good. And now for the future of Newcastle, the only way is up for them. and to finish 11th in a season where even I had them to finish quite low in 15th. It's a mid-table finish in the lower half. I thought they would struggle a little bit. They didn't, but of course that's all down to the money. Before the Saudi takeover, they weren't doing too well, and it looked like my prediction was going to be about right. But yeah, Newcastle, I'm a few out on that one. 4 places in the end. Next up is Crystal Palace. I had them to finish 14th. Coming into this season, they had a lot of youth. A new manager to the Premier League as well, Patrick Vieira. Of course, he's plays in it with Arsenal, but he's never managed it. And this is his first season in the Premier League managing, and he did very well. He actually finished 12th with Crystal Palace, so only 2 out on this one. I'm fairly close, and I'm fairly happy with this one, to be honest. Of course, the likes of Conor Gallagher really did well this season, and a lot of youth, as I say, as well. So the future of Crystal Palace is very, very exciting. And yeah, I think the only way for them as well is up, and next year maybe even get into the top 10. You never know. Next up is Brighton. I predicted them to finish in 13th. However, they did finish 9th in the end, climbing into that place on the final day, I think it was. But yeah, Brighton, really good season. I've seen it coming, sort of, but I didn't think they'd do this well. I thought the top 10 would be a bit too much for them to get into. In the end, it turns out it wasn't. But Graham Potter and Brighton, they're doing fantastic, and I won't be surprised if they're challenging the top 6 next season. Of course, the likes of Cucurella are linked to Man City, and that would be a big blow, but Brighton, they definitely got the budget now to try and splash out on a replacement for him. Of course, it's hard to replace a player like Cucurella, but I think Brighton will find the right player if he does depart Amex this season. In 12th, Wolves finished there. I predicted Wolves to finish there. However, they finished bang on 10th, and they had a really good defensive record this season. However, they didn't score too many goals, and for next season, I'm sort of worried about them. I'm sort of happy with my prediction for this year. I did think they would slip off a little bit from the season previous to this. They didn't. But next season, I really do worry for Wolves. The summer is going to be a big one for them. They need to add a few attackers, in my opinion, and some quality up there, because the defence is all fine. Going forward, only scoring, I think it's 38 goals all season. Then you start to worry as a fan. But yeah, Wolves are okay. I don't know how they finished 10th with only scoring 38 goals, if I'm correct on that one. I'm pretty sure that is right. But yeah, not a great season for Wolves on the scoring face of it. But however, the finish completely different, and I think all their fans will be happy with that. I know a few of them wanted them to push on to the Europa League qualification, and that, however, it hasn't happened. But score more goals next season, bring in a striker, and you never know what could happen. Up next in 11th, I had Aston Villa, and this was mainly influenced through them signing the likes of Leon Bailey. I don't think they signed Coutinho when I did this video. I think they brought him in January, I'm pretty sure. And they still had Jack Grealish at the time recording, I'm pretty sure as well. They had Emiliano Buendia as well. They had a really good team. Of course, I think it was midway through this season that Steven Gerrard took over, or I might be wrong on that one. But yeah, Villa, I thought they'd have a really good season. They did have a good season, but they finished 3 places lower than that in 14th. But I'm pretty happy with this one. I think Villa will be very interesting to see what happens with them next season. But no doubt they'll stay in the Premier League for me. And it's like them, Palace, Wolves, Brighton, they're all trying to now get up into the European places to qualify for that, and that is really exciting for the Premier League. A lot more teams challenging for that. This is a bit of a stinker now, and everyone's going to be laughing, but I had Everton to finish in 10th. Of course, no one really predicted them to have the season they did, finish in 16th, and going down to like match week 34, 33 for them to try and confirm their safety in the Premier League, and it looked at one point that they would be going down, of course, with Frank Lampard. I thought they'd have a really good season, however they didn't, and it's reflected in their finish, but next season I think they'll be okay. I think they will push back up a little bit. Yeah, mainly this season, the downfall was from Rafa Benitez, of course, being in charge. Um, but as soon as Lampard was in, it's like a different team in there. So Everton, nothing really to be worried about for next season. Not too happy with my prediction, but seeming as everybody really predicted Everton to finish this high, I don't feel too bad about it. In ninth, now this could have been so much worse if they went down. I had Leeds United to finish there. Of course, in the end, they finished just outside the relegation zone in 17th. Going into the season off the back of their return to the Premier League with Marcelo Bielsa, I thought they'd just kick on and get into the top 10. They didn't, of course. It all went to nothing, and in the end up struggling. But Jesse March is a good manager, and I think next season for Leeds will also be exciting. I don't quite think they'll make the top 10, but I think they'll have a good season to steady the ship a little bit more. In 8th at the start of the season, I predicted West Ham to finish there. However, they finished 7th, so only one place off on that one. They had a really good season, West Ham, though. And I think at the time of recording, they've just signed someone for 30 million. I'm sorry, I'm not too sure who it is, but the likes of Jared Boney, new player there. Jared Bowen really did well this season and earning a call up for England as well, which is massive for him. And it's only a bright future. Of course, there's loads of clubs now chasing him and being linked. The likes of Arsenal have been talked about, and clubs in Europe. But hopefully he stays at West Ham, because I think he'll definitely get regular game time there. And if you're finishing 7th with West Ham, and a very it's hard to say it's not a good team, but it is a good team. You've got Declan Rice in there. But you get what I mean. You wouldn't really expect it to be doing this well. And so, yeah, there's not as much quality in there as there is for the likes of Man United, Arsenal, Spurs, I would argue. But for me, happy with that one. One place off. Very happy. In 7th, going into the season, I thought Spurs were going to claim that position. However, on the final day, they did sneak into the top 4, finishing 4th. And Antonio Conte really did work wonders with this Spurs team the second half of the season. Kulusevski, Kane, Son, they were the dream three up top, and it's a really solid midfield they have as well. Linked for Eriksen return as well this summer, which would be really nice to see. But yeah, Spurs, brilliant season for them, especially in the second half of the season, beating the likes of Man City and holding Liverpool to a draw. Phenomenal. And Spurs, I feel like I'm in a bit of deja vu here, because before Spurs have had a good season and the next one they've not followed it up because they've been in the big competition. Can they handle the Champions League is my question. I want to say yes, but I'm not too sure. I think maybe we could see a little bit of a decrease in Spurs finish next season due to Champions League football, but I won't be surprised if they end up getting a place higher or two, to be honest. So we'll have to wait and see. It's quite exciting times at Spurs, and they've also just signed Yves Bissouma from Brighton for a steal of 25 to 30 million, I think it is. So brilliant business from them. Let's see how it impacts them for next season. Quite happy with that one, although I didn't see it coming that they would get Champions League. I was fairly close. In 6th place, I had Arsenal. And they were so close to getting the top 4. Some could say they bottled it. I won't say they bottled it. I think they did okay this season. Of course, started off, they were bottom after like 4 or 5 game weeks. And then they ended up going into the Champions League places, which was crazy. And towards the end of the season, it looked like they would get them. However, they did bottle it in the end, sort of. Spurs put the pressure on, and fair play to them for catching up. But Arsenal, I really don't think it's that bad of a season for them. Arteta's really got something going. I know a few Arsenal fans are a bit concerned about it and want him out. If I was an Arsenal fan, no way would I want Arteta out. There is progression under this Arsenal manager, of course. I can see it. Many others can obviously see it as well. and I think Arteta's the man for the job at Arsenal. And I think next season, going to improve in the summer, of course, and they already have by signing a few players. Um, but of course, a lot more needs to be done, like signing a proven striker that linked to Gabriel Jesus. But I think next season will be maybe Champions League football for Arsenal. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Arsenal definitely going in the right direction. I'm happy with that prediction. Only one out on that. In fifth place, I had Leicester City to finish there. In the end, they did finish in ninth, so not too close. I thought with Brendan Rodgers on the back of an FA Cup win, they would progress in the league. It didn't quite turn out to be like that. They had an average season, Leicester. Still decent, but for their previous standards they've set, it was quite average. I'm not too sure what's going to happen with them next season, if we're going to see another slip off, or if we'll see them get back to where they've been at recent years. I'm not too sure on Leicester, but this prediction, I don't know whether to be happy about this or not. I put it on fifth. They finished ninth. It's only 4, but in a 20 team table, it's quite a big gap. It's almost a quarter. In fourth place to get Champions League football, I did back Liverpool to finish there. Of course, they finished second and almost winning the league. I think they were 1 or 2 points out on it in the end. I thought they would fall off big time. I'm proven wrong yet again. And next season, I don't know if I can't see them falling off. I had no idea why at the start of the season I saw Liverpool potentially falling off. I just don't know what I was thinking. I think I've seen too much quality in the top 4 teams that Liverpool drop off. That's the only thing I can think about as a potential excuse. But next season looks exciting for Liverpool. Of course, Darwin Núñez, Diego Jota, Salah, Diaz as well. How can I forget him? And then the midfield's solid, and the defence, of course, we all know with VVD, and behind him as well as Alisson. You could go on for ages in this Liverpool team. It's outstanding, and fair play to them for proving me wrong. They finished second. I predicted fourth, so that's of course a gap of 2. But overall, I don't know whether to be happy with that or not. I probably should have predicted them higher. Above them then in third, I had Manchester United to finish there. They ended up finishing 6th, of course. So gap of 2 on that one as well. I don't know what I was thinking. Ronaldo, Bruno, Sancho. It looked so good for Manchester United, and it just didn't happen, did it? For me, the problem with Man United, there's just no chemistry in that team at all. There's a load of quality, but just no chemistry. And that's, for me, is why Manchester United didn't do as well as they probably should have done, and ended up finishing in 6th. But next season with Erik ten Hag, he's a hard-working manager. Let's see what he can bring to the Red Devils. In second then, I had Manchester City to win it, to come second. Of course, they did win the league in the end. Again, what was I thinking? I just thought Jack Grealish... No, I don't think I recorded this when Jack Grealish joined City. That's quite confusing, to be honest, looking back on things. But yeah, I just didn't see, much of an upgrade on the season previous to this on Man City. So I thought they would slip off the gas. I'm proven wrong. They won the league yet again. Fair play to them. Not too happy with this one, really. I should have seen it coming, but they easily could have finished second if they did bottle it to Aston Villa on this last day. And of course, the only team I have missed out now is Chelsea. I did predict them to win the league. They ended up finishing third. I think this was mainly influenced from their Champions League victory. Thomas Tuchel, going on a cup run with them as well, almost winning the FA Cup. So much was going right for Chelsea. And this season, just too many slip-ups. They drew quite a few games, lost a few where you would have expected them to pick up points. So yeah, I'm not too sure. But Lukaku, Werner, I thought they were going to click. In the end, none of them really did well. Werner barely played this season. And yeah, I'm not too sure why I predicted Chelsea first. And looking back on it, they've sort of underachieved a little bit. But if you look at the teams above them, Liverpool and City, can't really say they've underachieved. when you've got teams like that above you. So they are my predictions for that season. The season just gone. I ended up getting 0 correct. That is right, absolutely appalling. And if we look back on previous seasons, last season I got 4 correct, and the season before that I ended up getting 1 correct. So it's definitely getting worse at my predictions as we're going on. And on the points, I've got the second worst result in the 3 seasons I've had. 2021, I only had 43. This season, I ended up getting 60 points on the board, which of course you want to get as least amount of points as possible on the board. But guys, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you've all enjoyed it. If you have, please drop a like and subscribe. I'll of course be doing a lot more content in the coming days. Just finished my GCSEs, so you can get back to YouTube, fully focusing. If you have realised this video as well, the quality of the audio may be better, let me know in the comments if it is, because I've got a new microphone, of course, and you'll see. Maybe I don't know if it stands out or not. But yeah, let me know if it's better quality or not, and if you prefer it or not. But yeah, I'll be doing my Premier League predictions for the new season in a few weeks' time, so make sure you stay tuned for the channel for that. And yeah, see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Goodbye.